Yesterday, Namibians went to the polls, and this was for the regional councils and local authorities election. It was attended, so to speak. I think that's the most calm way to start reflecting on what we are likely to be considering the main narrative from this election, which is actually low voter turnout. We'll be discussing a little bit about that and, of course, a couple of highlights from yesterday, keeping in mind that these slots, 8:30, 12:30 and 3:30 p.m. are designed to be giving you the latest updates as they come, particularly with regards to the results. Currently, no results have been announced. However, last night, Electoral Commission of Namibia Chairperson Elsingi Kembwa acknowledged that rains affected the voter turnout, and this was in Khomas and Kavango West regions. But she said arrangements were made to ensure that the democratic process was carried out as many Namibians turned out to perform their civic rights. These were her words.
We also want to explain and give more details regarding the results counting process that is in progress now. All the 4,861 polling stations opened and conducted polling successfully. The Commission has noted a smooth polling process across the country. During the course of the polling process, as earlier communicated in our morning briefing, the Commission has reported the following isolated challenges. Firstly, the rainfall. As the country continues to receive rainfall, as reported in some parts of the Khomas, Kavango West, Oshipoto, Otokonjupa, and Zambezi regions, the Commission has made necessary arrangements to ensure the safekeeping of election materials and continuation of polling in these areas with minimal disruption.
So that was the latest update from the Electoral Commission of Namibia. Right now, counting has started. Numbers are being posted outside of polling stations. We'll start communicating numbers to you once we start seeing the constituency numbers. The polling stations will be far too varied for us to be able to draw any reasonable statistics with regards to what you can expect with the results. Elections.my.na is where we are keeping you updated, and follow Namibia Elections 2025. This is on Facebook. The official hashtag is Namibia Decides 2025, and as you know, this is Election Watch. However, in Swakopmund, teams from various polling stations started trickling into the multi-purpose center, and this is in Mondesa early in the morning. This was the report from Irene Marie van der Walt.
Okay, so we are outside the multipurpose center in Mondesa, Swakopmund, the collation center for the Swakopmund constituency. I would say somewhere in the vicinity, this is an unofficial count, this is my own count of the people sitting there. I would say somewhere in the vicinity of like 20 polling stations, maybe a little bit more, have come in already. Everybody seems happy, party observers seem happy, people are tired. There are weary eyes and swollen ankles in that hall, but I think the process is going very smoothly. Everyone seems very happy with the voting that took place at the different polling stations. I just heard from Tamariskia, Matutura. They all say Matutura Primary. They all say they are very happy with polling and elections that took place yesterday. They're just waiting for the count to be finalized.
Now, of course, a lot of noteworthy figures cast their ballots yesterday, including the first citizen herself, President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa. These were her words from the polling station.
So the first citizen, you have cast your vote. How important this exercise is in a democratic society like ours?
You see, first, and I'm sure the mood at this station where I am is the mood all over the country. You see, Namibians come for election, they are so relaxed. It's like coming for a party. People are talking, they are joking, they are laughing, and it's really a way how we can consolidate our democracy. Now, at the station where I am now, at Windhoek West, Emma, people have really come out. And I'm encouraging all Namibians to come out. This is the power that you are having. This is an opportunity for you to use your power by voting because you are voting for your own good. You are voting for your prosperity. So come out in numbers. And that's why I have decided to declare today a public holiday, because I don't want any excuse. The government does not want to be blamed of you not exercising your democratic right, maybe because you were at work. So come out, please, Namibians, and let us make sure that our election remain peaceful, because this is a peaceful and stable country. And that's how Namibia we are, a land of the brave. We are brave because we do things in the right way, and we must continue to do so. So come out, go and vote. You vote for yourself as you are voting for your well-being. So thank you, Namibians.
Thank you.
Make sure that you talk.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, my thumb. Yeah, I have a vote.
So that was the message from the first citizen as she cast her vote. We know that the recurring narrative has essentially been that there was low voter turnout. We'll be getting opinions with regards to that in particular after this short break.
Mornings just got better, Namibia. From the latest headlines to the hottest trends, we're bringing you the conversations that matter.
That's right. Bright minds, bold opinions, and a touch of morning magic. This is your daily dose of energy.
So grab a cup and join in on the conversation every weekday morning at 8 o'clock with Smell the Coffee, hosted by Diana Master and Aina Riza Quayo.
When the sun sets, the news begins. Welcome to Sunset News, bringing you the latest headlines, in-depth community stories, economic updates, sports highlights, and your daily weather forecast. Join us every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25, or stream us online at oneup2.com. Join us on Facebook at Sunset News to stay updated.
Now, throughout Election Day, we had journalists across the regions making sure that they brought us the updates, not just from the polling officers, but from Namibian citizens. And here's one such update, Patrick Bartomeus, who shared his observations after visiting various polling stations across Walvis Bay.
Yeah, to be honest, what I have observed from this morning is that we have a very low turnout of the voters to the polling stations, with only a long queue that was observed in the morning in Quisemund. But when it comes to Naraval or in town, it was honestly very low turnout. And even if you look at Farm 37, there are no people. If there were not people that were coming from town to come and just not to spend time here, this polling station could have been quiet for so long. There's a lot of aspects, but one of the aspects, like polling stations in town and in Quisemund, is because a lot more voters are working in the factories, and most of the factories they are working, and it looks like the workers they don't have time or an opportunity to come and cast their vote, although today is a public holiday. And also the fishermen, that most of them they did not get a chance to come and cast their vote. We understand some vessels just departed early this morning. They were not given that chance to cast their vote. So it is a lot of aspects that are involved. Yeah, maybe also the community do not really understand the value of the local and regional council elections. Here is where they have to really vote for the leaders that they want to lead for the next 5 years. But of course, it looks like maybe education needs for them to understand what is really important for them to do. So yeah, maybe one could be that. So probably education also need to be really more to take place for the people to understand the importance of these regional and local elections.
Some insightful observations indeed. We move from Walvis Bay to Rehoboth, where resident Louis Degat, who cast his vote, said that although he is happy with some of the developments in the town, there is still room for improvement.
My naam is Louis Degat. Wat ek sien die pad in blok F, die word geteer. Dit is baie goed, hy is baie mooi. En padtekens, die padstrepe word opgesit. En ja, dis wat ek kan dink, ja. Soos ek sê, ons sal seker nog met 1 robot kry. Veral daar by, as jy van die mall af daar opgaan, by crossing daar so. Daar is baie voertuie wat daar langs gaan. Ja. Eintlik baie goed. Dan hierdie pad van die hospitaal af na blok 1 toe. As daar miskien meer hierdie hoe sy versperrings kom. Ons van daar 'n paar plekke waar die manne baie vinnig ry.
Those are the thoughts of Mr. then election officials. And thus this raised many questions. Is it up to the ECN to make sure that voters go to the poll? We understand it's certainly up to them to inform us about the process. One can argue that they certainly did. But the term that is creeping up more and more in Namibia is voter apathy. Are people in the majority simply not concerned with the regional council and local authority elections, even though these elections are essentially about delivery, service delivery, the issues that are closest to us: water, electricity, perhaps that pothole outside your road, on the road but outside your yard. These are issues that we deal with every single day, and these people are the first responders. But it didn't quite click, or at least there wasn't enough enthusiasm to drive the numbers to that this could likely be one of Namibia's least attended election with regards to casting the ballot box. And of course, another question then crops up: the youth. The youth had been touted as a very potent and important addition to this particular vote, having huge numbers with regards to registration. But as we went through those polling stations, again, it was more often than not the elders waiting in line. So I had a conversation with a Namibian youth, Anne-Marie Dutoit, about youth participation. Have a look. You know, as you can see, the elders were clearly excited to be in the queues and exercising their democratic right. Do you think you can say the same for the youth?
Unfortunately not. I do think that I spoke to David from the ECN yesterday. He's the spokesperson there, and he said that they really tried with the youth and really tried. But I do think, and this is something that I can say about myself included, is that our youth kind of tends to take advantage of a vacation day. And I think that's something that we unfortunately saw today. We did find some youth, but not as much as I would have liked to see. I know even some of my friends that didn't go out and vote, and I do think that we were trying so hard because it's important that you as the youth make your voice heard. We are the generation of tomorrow. And unfortunately, the turnout for the youth just has been a bit disappointing.
And you know, it's a sharp contrast to how the youth turn up on social media when issues are being discussed. We've all had purple profile pictures, rightfully so. But now this is an election where these are the people making the decisions closest to us, the people who are, you know, fixing our roads, what happens with electricity, what happens with water. Do you feel like youth political participation has become performative? You know, it's about whether or not you tweet. It's about whether you tweet your values or X your values. I don't know how that works. More than it is putting an X on the ballot box.
Very much so. I think all of us want to be an influencer, so we all get very outspoken when the issues are brought forth. Especially, and this is something you mentioned, the purple profile pictures. This is something we saw then, was all of these youth and all of these young girls begging for change, asking for change, but when the time for change comes, they aren't on the front lines to put that X in the ballot box, to vote for the people that can make the change. So I think it has become very performative, especially in the way of it kind of gets you followers. Being a part of the movement gets you followers, but actually taking that action doesn't matter because you've put up your social media post and you've put up your go vote, go make your voice heard, Namibia decides hashtag, but then where are you when those decisions need to be made? So I do, in that way, think that it's become very performative and that social media has kind of been the catalyst in that, turning it very performative because we value the views and the likes more than we value the actual change. So
it's more about, you know, this validation that you get for aligning yourself with the movement. But do you have hope? Do you feel that, you know, this is something we can turn around as a nation, that we can get more youth to the polls?
I do. I think we have strong enough people within the youth community that will be able to kind of drive that change.
So that was the opinion from one of the youth, Anna Marie Dutoit. And we certainly hope that this could be a wake-up call, because it's hard not to see this as a crisis when a nation is not coming out to cast ballots and choosing the people who are supposed to be delivering essential services to them. In the studio, I also had Matthias Haufiku, and we spoke about the campaigns towards the election, if they were potent enough, and how well the current system can hold in modern times.
One of the reasons why we see the numbers at the polls dropping over the years, you can't keep on promising and not delivering and expect positive outcomes.
We were actually, there's an update right now, which is still up on Namibian Sun's X page. It's still on the Namibia Elections 2025 on Facebook, where there's a constituency where they arrived strictly for a protest vote. They did not go in to vote. I'm sure maybe someone might have trickled in later, but their statement was made. Their statement was, we have come here strictly to let you know we are not voting because nothing gets done. We would certainly not apathy. Without a doubt. That's a protest. And it's a tricky situation, without a doubt, because, I mean, obviously for them, if 10%, you know, go in there, the rules are the rules, someone will be elected. But for some areas, it's gotten that bad, Matthias, that they are willing to go and brave the sun, to walk through all sorts of obstacles, simply to go and say, we're not happy with this.
Yeah. We must remember that elections are sort of the cornerstone of any democracy. And Namibians have, over the years, respected the democracy that we have. So when you push people to the edge, that's what you'll expect. So how do we address that going forward? Because when ECN puts the numbers up on the board, when they declare those results, they will not say, no, the results was perhaps low because there was a protest and so on.
No.
Yeah? It will just be the apathy song again. But then what is the root cause? That is what we must tackle. So, and I sometimes I wonder, because ECN is, since last year, introduced this sort of process where they have meetings with the political parties and they engage on these things. Perhaps those are some of the things to look at. There is political parties, ECN, it's fine. They are the poster child of the election.
Yes.
But then again, they can only do so much.
Definitely.
They can only do, they have their flaws, that much we know. But then again, there needs to be other areas that also needs to be factored in as we look for a solution to this. So it's really a tricky one, but it's unfortunate that we have people who were pushed to that level.
Yes.
I hope it's not a sinister move. I hope it's genuine.
Genuine,
If
yes.
it's genuine, it still
breaks your heart.
It breaks my heart, but it's also their right to
Yes.
sort of champion their democracy in a way that they see fit for them.
I was speaking earlier to your long-time colleague, Toivo Njebela, and one of the things he outlines as a potential solution is that upon election, he wants everyone to declare with clear, defined timelines. Timelines. Don't just tell us you're going to do something. Tell us you're going to do it in this amount of time, in this amount of time, and this amount of time, and then we hold you accountable at the end of that. Do you think such a system could be implemented? I mean, of course, via law, that's going to be a whole different situation, but is that a practice that could potentially be normalized as a solution?
Yeah, well, it's all about how are you going to roll it out. Like you said, there's the law issue around it also. You're sort of also pinning the political role players in a corner in that regard. Because if I'm an independent candidate councillor, there's no way that I can say I'll build a school a year into my office, because I don't know how resources sort of gets channeled.
Yes.
Yeah, we also have a political system whereby resources are channeled from central government. So you've heard the opposition parties complaining over the years that they feel that the councils that they are in charge of are being staffed of funds from central government. Who manages central government? You see? Yeah. So there's a lot of factors that we need to needs a sort of reinvention. Because it's tricky. We've seen over the last 5 years, especially as far as Windhoek is concerned, we've seen you have the sort of management who manages the daily affairs of the municipality, and then you have the councillors who oversee this. So you sort of have two heads on the same body but with different thinkings. So how do you execute your plan? Management has a strategic plan. Councillors come with their manifesto. So how do you align the two?
Yes.
Based on the resources that you have.
And the temptation to sabotage is there because power is addictive. You know, power is power. You know what I mean? And the temptation to sabotage, which has been alleged by a lot of opposition parties, always stays prevalent, particularly when we're talking about these independent candidates. They can easily be, you know, just taken down to the wayside, except perhaps the most recent gathering of parliament. But then I would like your opinion, though, about 50 independent candidates. That's a new wave. That's what does that signify?
Well, if I'm in charge of a political party, I'll have to think, what are we not doing right?
People want to represent themselves.
Yeah, people want to what are we not doing right? So is it our inner party mechanisms of appointing or electing our officials during the intra-party elections? What is actually going on? Because this new wave can't just be sudden. It must have been a build-up of frustrations where someone gets to the level of saying, let me just go stand on my own. And what's also sort of eye-catching is that many of them command quite a considerable number of support in their communities.
Yes.
That's why you have situations where you could see that they can say, if it's possible, I'll vote for this candidate, but still vote for my party.
Absolutely.
You see, so it's a tricky situation, but political parties have a lot of introspection to do because the social dynamics of democracy in elections is changing. But I think the parties are still sort of rudimentary and stuck in the past. Your traditional ways of campaigning and engaging your electorate and supporters. So that needs to change. As much as the governance system is also evolving, we'll see many of them falling by the wayside, and that's why that's where you see these accusations of sabotage and so on. Some of them just can't keep up with the new ways of doing things. Look at the sort of the youth sector of the country. There's about 650,000 youth voters out of 1.5 million registered. So it's a huge chunk.
Yes.
But if you look at the sort of way that our political parties campaign, it doesn't appeal to young people.
No.
It doesn't appeal to them. So the voter apathy amongst the youth, you will still expect it. Because what product is Party A selling to the youth for the youth to come out and say, let me follow Party A? So we need to look at those things.